Good afternoon. So the today's session, we are going to talk about how we are going to write a paragraph, right? So this goes under the writing skills. So writing a paragraph, you're going to learn what is a paragraph and then what are the key features. And specifically, this paragraph writing is very important when you're going to write HRM related documents. So there are examples like even writing professional emails and performance reviews, and especially when you're writing reports and some proposals. So it's very important to focus on how you're going to write a good paragraph. Okay, so without a further ado, let's move on to the paragraph writing. So let me give you an introduction towards what is a paragraph. Okay, so paragraph is a group of related sentences. Already, when you are writing a description, there can be several paragraphs, but make sure one paragraph, it is a group of related sentences. And there is only one main idea. So you are developing that one main idea throughout that paragraph, right? So it's very important, especially in human resource management. When we relate it to the academic and professional writing also, a well-structured paragraph, it always enhances the clarity, coherence, and professionalism. Okay? So it's very important to learn within one paragraph what does it contain, right? There are key features you have to learn. So the first one is a topic sentence. So mainly the topic sentence is the main key idea. So it's up to you to develop this main topic sentence throughout the paragraph with the details and examples. And sometimes you are going to end the paragraph you're using a concluding sentence, right? So if you're going to write a long description, there can be several paragraphs. So what you do is you connect the first paragraph to the second paragraph. Then you may have to do the transition. So we are going to discuss these kind of how you're going to develop a paragraph, and sometimes when you are going to connect a one paragraph to another paragraph, and the similar thing that we do in the developing connecting ideas, one idea to another idea. Okay, so make sure within the paragraph you are clearly having one main idea and you're going to develop that idea within that paragraph. Okay, so why clear paragraph writing matters in HRM? So mostly HRM professionals, they write very formal documents. So these formal documents should be very clear, concise, and focused. Why? Because these things, if it's clear, concise, and focused only, you can maintain the effective communication. So what you write, the paragraph should be clear. Make sure it's clear and concise and focused. Okay, so these are the very common HRM writing contexts. Sometimes the HRM context you may have to write. Context means the situations. In situations, you may have to write the policy documents, right? And sometimes, as I mentioned earlier, you may have to draft professional emails. And then sometimes you may have to write performance reviews. And sometimes you may have to write recruitment reports and training proposals. So my main aim, target today's session is not only for this professional, but also academics. Now, when we give you some assignments also, when you develop paragraphs, you have to follow the same structure, which I'm going to teach you today. So I have already given you an assignment to be done. So make sure you develop the paragraph according to today's session, what we are going to do. Okay, so why does this, again, I'm going to focus on why does we need the well-written paragraphs. So always it prevents the misunderstanding. If we have a misunderstanding, then there is no clear communication there, right? And also it clearly gives what you need to be given to the employees, right? And it already creates a good relationship, and also it supports legal and ethical clarity. After all, if you write a well-written paragraph or any kind of writing style, so you will understand, you can build your professionalism and credibility. Okay, so now this is the background towards why you need to practice writing, master writing this paragraph. So let's move on to the structure of an effective paragraph. Okay, so as you can see, it's visible here. We can call it a hamburger method. So there are parts of a paragraph. So you can see this. These are each slice. These slices has each part. Okay, so specifically, the topic sentence is the major one. So the main idea. So always you introduce the main idea with a hook or there are different ways you can start a topic sentence, but make sure it's very clear, okay, and precise. And then after that, you're going to support that main idea. You can have either three supportive details, or depending on your topic sentence, you can improve, I mean, develop any number of supportive details, right? But make sure at least there should be three strong supportive details in a paragraph, and at last, you're going to conclude. Okay, conclude mean you're going to sum up the main idea. So this is what we call hamburger method. When you write in an academic purposes also, this paragraph structure is very important. Okay, so as I explain it to you, now it's clear to you, these are the three main parts of a paragraph. So the first one is topic sentence. So normally we call this the anchor, where it leads you to what you want to write, right? So then the second part is supporting sentences. These are the builders. The number of words increases within the paragraph due to this supportive sentences. Now, when you're going to include supportive sentences, make sure that you include very strong supportive details and the examples, okay? If there are evidence and examples, you're going to provide those things within this supportive sentences. And the last one is concluding sentence. So you can see I have used the color codes for the topic sentence and the supporting sentence and concluding sentence. So I'm going to give you an activity also to identify how you're going to identify the each of these three parts in one paragraph after I have given you a brief introduction to these three parts. Okay, so let's move on to the topic sentence and see what is this, right? It's already, I want to highlight you that it's the main idea of the paragraph. What is it? It's the main idea of the paragraph. Okay, so in this main idea of the paragraph, so main idea, we call it the main idea of a paragraph. And it tells the details what this paragraph is about. Okay. So there are key features. Usually the topic sentence you can easily identify. It's the first sentence of the paragraph. Okay. And already, as I told you, it should be very clear, focused, and specific. And since we are talking about HRM related topics, so the purpose and it should relate to the topic, which is the main topic, HRM topic. Okay. So now I have given here an example for a topic sentence. Employee engagement, it's related to the HRM topic. So, and now this is the first sentence, directly impacts organizational productivity. So this is one example for topic sentence. Okay. Let's move on to the second. That's the supporting sentences. Okay. So now supporting sentences, we call these are sentences which develop, explain, and support the topic sentence. Okay, already it supports the topic sentence. With what? It supports the topic sentences with facts, examples, and explanations, or sometimes you have to provide HRM specific evidence. Okay, so just as previously we discussed about topic sentence, these uh, supportive sentences also, there are some key features. Already it should provide the clarity and detail. And we are going to talk about this specific quality unity. It should not be within the supporting sentences, but if you take an overall paragraph, the unity should be there. But make sure when you're providing supporting sentences, it should maintain the unity. Okay. So that means each one support the main idea. So the topics that you're going to bring out under this, I mean, supportive sentences should relate to the main idea. And you can include some data and also real life scenario and logical arguments. Okay, let's see. So these are two kind of supportive HRM examples. So when employees feel valued through recognition programs, they are more likely remain committed to company goals. Regular performance reviews help align personal growth and organizational success. So these two are two supportive details which related to HRM. Okay. And this is the most important part. So if you take a paragraph, you should use a concluding sentence where it wrap up the paragraph. So you can restate the main idea or you can offer a final insight when you're going to talk about this. Okay. And here also, there are three main key features. You have to bring closer to bring closure to the paragraph. That means you are winding up it. And when it comes to that sentence, you know that you're going to wind up that paragraph. And sometimes if you're going to produce long documents, okay, you may have to link so many paragraphs. So then there you're not going to end it. Then you're going to give a help to the next idea. Okay, and you can reinforce the purpose of a formal tone. Okay, so therefore, fostering employee engagement should be strategic priority in HR plan. So I have taken separate ones. So we'll see everything in one paragraph and it will be easy for you to understand. Okay, so I'm now going to give you a small activity, that is identify three main parts of a paragraph. Okay, so now this is the 3-minute exercise. I'm giving you this paragraph. It's about effective performance appraisal systems. So now you have to identify the topic sentence and the three, it can be 3 or 4, I don't know. You have to find it out. The supportive details and the conclude. Okay, let me give you 3 minutes. Let's see how you are going to work it on. Okay, let's see whether you can identify the first topic sentence. Okay, so the topic sentence is the first sentence. You can easily recognize that. So it's effective performance appraisal systems are essential for enhancing employee productivity and organizational success. So you can identify it's the central idea and it's clearly stated and it anchor the reader to the main point. So what's the main point here? Importance of performance appraisals in HRM. So that's how you can recognize the topic sentence. Now let's move on to the second part of this paragraph. Okay, so this is the first topic sentence. And now it's task for you to find out the supportive, supportive details. Okay, so now so what you can see from that is there are four supportive details. I'll highlight it in the paragraph and show it to you. And you can see these sentences, each sentence talks about one point, but it is directly related to the topic sentence. So we were talking about what's our topic sentence? If you can remember, tell me the importance of performance appraisals in HRM. So now then these four sentences are going to talk about how appraisals give feedback and connecting personal goals for company goals, and then identify development needs, and then highlighting motivational benefits. Okay, so as you can see, it's visible here. So I have given you correctly with the arrows and all. So these are the four supportive details in a paragraph. Okay, so have a quick glance on this. So you can identify there are four supportive details. First one, this explains about how appraisals give feedback. And then the second one, it talks about connecting personal goals with the company goals. And then the third one, the third one, if I take this one, it talks about identify development needs. And the last supportive details talks about highlighting motivational benefits. Okay. So now I'm going to give you to do the find out the last part of this paragraph. So you can easily identify it. That's the last sentence here. So this already wraps the paragraph by resetting the main idea with reinforcement, adding a sense of closure and completeness. So since this is one paragraph, it adds the sense of closure. But if you are writing a description, you may have to connect the next paragraph. So I'm going to show you how you are going to connect the paragraph by paragraph, and we are going to talk about those things as well. We call them transitions. Okay. So now that's what about a concluding sentence. Okay, so this gives you a clear picture. I have used the three color codes. The first sentence in red, it talks about it's the topic sentence. And with related to that topic sentence, we have four supportive details. And then we have the final closure. It shows you that this paragraph ends there. Okay, so if we go through a quick summary, these are the components you can see in my left side. The first one is topic sentence. And the purpose of this topic sentence is it introduces the main idea. And then the second one is supporting sentence, where you're going to provide evidence, examples, and explanations. Okay. And then the third one is the concluding sentence where you summarize and reinforce the paragraph's main message. So having a clear paragraph, you will definitely, you can prove that your paragraph has the clarity, credibility, and professional tone. So that's why we need to analyze this topic sentence in details. Okay, so I'm going to do some kind of activities with you to practice this topic sentence, to make sure that you practice the clarity, credibility, and professional tone. So I'm going thoroughly through these each part of this paragraph because it's very important in your academic writing as well as your professional writing. Okay, so this will be another kind of revision to you. So always a topic sentence means the central idea of a paragraph. And already it sets the focus to the paragraph and guides the supporting details. And typically it's the first sentence in the paragraph, but it can have a different stylists they use the writing styles are there, so they use the topic sentence in different places, but make sure for your level this will be enough. Mostly you have to practice writing this style, then only you can practice the other style. So make sure you write the first sentence as the topic sentence. Okay, so now this is clearly a topic sentence given to HR situation. So effective communication, here also we are talking about communication, is crucial in managing workplace conflict. So why do you can see it's specific to HRM and it introduces the main idea, and also it sets the tone for supporting examples for discussion. So this has all these three key features what we have discussed previously. Okay, so the techniques are there you can use, and it first we'll talk about the do's what you have to do. It should be very specific, precise terminology, HRM related terminology you have to use, and you have to start by identifying the main point of the paragraph, and also always sometimes it directly related to HRM concept. Okay, these are the things that you have to avoid. Don't use very common, general, vague type of generalizations. Okay, when you start a topic sentence, it should have a clear idea. Don't start with, don't start without a clear idea. You should not do that one. Okay, and also, when we are relating to HRM, so you have to use about these HRM concepts and related terminology. It's very important. So you lose marks if you are going to use vague generalization and start without a clear idea or ignore relevance to HRM themes. Okay, so we have to practice this by brainstorm paragraphs purpose. So sometimes you may have to ask what is the main HRM idea I want to convey, and make sure you use active assertive language. Okay. Okay, let's check your understanding about uh, paragraph right in the first part, topic sentence. So just guess whether this is a good topic sentence. People do things at work for many reasons. What do you think about this? Does it have any HRM related terms, or does it have any specific idea, or does this only address the general vague type of idea? Yes? Yeah, it's too vague, right? So you can talk about these things like this. Employee motivation is largely driven by recognition and opportunities for growth in HRM setting. So if you compare and contrast these two specific topic sentences, employee motivation, then growth opportunities for growth in HRM settings. These two are HRM concepts and terms. So make sure you're going to use these things. And also, it's specifically driving the reader's attention towards one thing, right? Focus on one thing. So make sure you're going to practice this. Okay, let's see this example. So you're going to identify the best best fitting topic sentence here. Okay. So the question is, read the following 3 topic sentences and select one of the best. Introduce a paragraph on leadership in HRM. So the topic here is leadership in HRM. So try to find the answer. Okay, so the answer is B. Why? Because it has the HR setting. So you see the terms are given. It shows the relevant to HRM and specific focus is there where I already it readership impacts the productivity. So talks about that. Okay. The productivity and the leadership, they have a clear connection and clarity and precision. So you can see it avoids the very vague type of overly general terms, and purposeful direction is there. Okay, so that's why the answer should be B. And we have to talk about why we do not select A and C. Many people lead others in different ways. So when you talk about many people, it's too general, right? It lack of focus is there. And it does not tie to the HRM or specific issue. It's just generally talking, right? And the last one is also the same. It's very informal and also it's very vague. And it lacks of clarity, relevance, and we don't know what this topic is talking about. It's important to be good at work. So what work that they are relating to? There is no clear main idea there. So that's why we are not going to select write these kind of sentences like topic sentences. Okay, so now this activity is going to focus on rewrite vague topic sentences. Okay, so managers have to do a lot of things. As a very first glance, you can say this is a very vague type of topic sentence, right? So let's see how we can make it into a very clear, specific HRM focused one. Okay, HRM managers. So here, instead of managers, you're going to include HR managers. And to do a lot of things, it's very informal. So you can write responsible for implementing, to do what? Lot of things, or again it gives you a lot of ideas, right? You have to be very specific. So either you're going to talk about effective performance appraisal system, so let's focus on that one thing. To support employee development. Okay, so it identify who are the HR managers and explains the performance, explains what, and states why. Okay, so this is very good example for you to make you understand how you're going to write a good topic sentence. Okay, let's work on this one. Work is hard sometimes for employee. Again, it has something wrong. Wrong means in the sense very generalized, too generalized. If we are going to talk about it, high workload and lack of support can lead to employee burnout. So here we are going to talk about employee burnout. Okay. How? Making it a critical issue for HR department to address. Okay. So identify the issue. The issue here is the employee burnout, and it explains the causes. What are the causes? High workload and lack of support, and it shows the HR relevance, right? It needs to address it. Okay, let's do this quick matching activity. So it's a jumble activity. So there are titles. So you're going to select these titles on the right side with related to the topic sentences. Quickly, we'll go through it and try to find answers. Okay, so let's discuss answers quickly. So, training and development. So, when you talk about this title, you'll see talking about continuous learning programs and also employee retention and engagement. These two terms are related to training and development. And conflict resolution. So, you see there are some topic related terms are given there in topic sentence. Okay. Conflict resolution. So you can see setting clear job expectations is a term, and misunderstandings and conflicts is another term. And when we talk about leadership and ethics, so ethical leadership is a term you can and long-term organizational success is also another term. And when we are going to talk about work-life balance, flexible work arrangement is a term. And then job satisfaction, reduce stress. These are terms used in work balance, the work-life balance. Regular performance reviews and employee growth and organizational goals. These are performance management related to title of performance management. So like that, you can find here the diversity and inclusion. So workplace boost innovation and employee morale. So inclusive workplace. And if we highlight the seventh one, employee orientation, onboarding process is a term used there. And then turnover is also another term. And strategic hiring is also another term related to recruitment. And the role and the candidate is also another term. Then employee feedback mechanisms is a one term. And then a culture of transparency and succession planning, internal candidates, and leadership roles. So you can see always a topic sentence should have the topic related terms. Okay. Make sure you include them. Okay. So what you have to understand, the key takeaway is that topic sentence is the paragraph's anchor. And it should be very specific. Since you're learning about HRM, it should be HRM relevant and clearly convey the main idea. And all the other sentences must relate back to this point for unity. That's why I told you, unity is there. Unity should be everywhere in the paragraph. Okay. Okay, now we are moving on to a very important part. That's the supporting details. Once you have written a perfect topic sentence, then make sure you're going to write, support that topic sentence with the supportive sentences. These are the builders of this paragraph. Okay, so let's do this activity and let's get to know what are the supporting sentences. So this is expand the topic sentence with supportive sentences. Okay, the topic sentence here is employee training programs are vital for enhancing workplace efficiency. So now you have to build on this idea by adding explanations, examples, and justifications. Okay, let's see how you can do it. Now, I have included 3 supporting sentences, or else we can call them builders. Okay, so these 3 builders directly link to this topic sentence. Okay, we are talking about employee training programs. So then the first supportive detail I'm going to talk about is these programs equip employees with updated skills that align with changing industry standards. And then I'm going to talk about training reduces the number of errors and increases task accuracy and saving time and resources. That's okay. And then the third one I'm going to focus on, well-trained employees are more confident and tend to take initiative, contributing positively to team performance. So if we have a discussion, you can see the first sentence, it gives a reason. Okay, it aligns with the industry standards when we talk about the employee training program. And then the second one, it provides a result. When we have this employee training program, the errors, what will happen to the errors? It reduces the errors and saves time. It talks about the result. And then the third one, it talks about the additional benefit. So you see there is a unity in order of ideas that I'm developing this, right? So make sure you should have a good developing skills also when you're adding supportive sentences. There is a chronological order how you're going to support them, okay? So I think this example is clear to you. Let's move on to another one and see. Okay, so identify and reorder the supporting sentences. I told you the supporting idea should be chronologically ordered, right? So now here, they have given you the supportive sentences with related to the topic sentence and inclusive workplace culture, okay? Benefits both employees and the organization. So, but the ideas are given in jumble. So, try to find out the order. I'll give you a few minutes. Okay, let's see how you have organized them in an order. Okay, so the correct order should be inclusive. Inclusivity fosters a sense of belonging, which increases employee engagement and loyalty. So it has a direct connection to this internal impact, right? So internal impact. Again, it talks about the employee engagement when we are going to talk about an inclusive workplace culture benefits. Okay. So, and then the next one, diverse perspectives lead to innovative ideas and better problem solving within teams. That's again talks about the team benefits as a second point. Okay. And it talks about the innovation and problem solving. Third one, it also enhances the organization's reputation, making it more attractive and potential employees and investors. So then finally it talks about the external impact, organizational image and the attractiveness. So you see now the ideas are logically ordered. Okay. So it talks about the relevance in an order. Okay, I think this part is also clear to you. Now we are coming to the concluding sentence part. Okay, so let's do this activity and see. Okay, so there is a paragraph here. This is the paragraph, and you are going to select the best, most effective concluding sentence from the options given here. Okay, so let's read out the paragraph and see. Employee training plays a crucial role in ensuring organizational growth and employee satisfaction. So, employee training is the term that we can find from the topic sentence. It helps workers acquire the necessary skills, knowledge to perform tasks efficiently. Additionally, ongoing training programs boost employee morale and reduce turnover rates. Okay, so which is the best one? We'll select. Employees must attend training regularly. Training is expensive but mandatory in most organizations. Thus, employee training is a strategic investment that benefits both individuals and organizations. Most employees dislike mandatory training. Okay, so you can see the answer is thus employee training is a strategic investment benefit both individual and organization. Okay. One thing you can understand is this sentence summarizes the main idea and add emphasis to the value of training. That's why we go for that. Okay. And it concludes without introducing a new idea and maintains a formal academic tone suitable for HRM writing. Okay. So let's do another activity and see. This is, you're going to complete the paragraph with an effective closer. This paragraph is about a transparent recruitment process. Okay, and it helps the organization attract qualified candidates. It promotes fairness and builds trust among applicants. Moreover, clearly communicated job role selection criteria ensure that right talent is hired for the right position. Okay, so then you can add in conclusion, a transparent recruitment process, okay, lays the foundation for long-term employee satisfaction and organizational credibility. So it restate the key main idea and wrap up the paragraph, okay, with a broader implication. And it avoids repetition of the and provides a final key takeaway. Make sure you do not repeat the same thing as the concluding paragraph. It should give a kind of a completing the paragraph very cohesively. Okay, so sometimes that's why I told you the concluding sentence should be very strong. Now, if you look at this, so HR managers are very busy. This for your eyesight, you will see this is very weak one, right? Here it talk about the employee retention strategies. And finally, if you state something like this, it gives a very low weightage to the paragraph. So instead, you have to write very the highlight, it should highlight the significance of retention. We are talking about the employee retention. So there is nothing related here. So HR managers are very busy. So you have to write, therefore, implementing effective retention strategies is crucial for building a stable and committed workforce. Okay, so now I gave you a clear idea about the three main parts of the paragraph, right? The first one was the topic sentence. The second one was the what you have to develop very carefully. That's the supporting details. And the last one is the concluding sentence. Okay. So now if you have a clear idea of these three parts, then you should be able to write a good paragraph, which also should have these kind of key writing qualities. First one is unity. Okay. We are going to talk in details about this unity. And then the next one is coherence. And the third one is transition. And the fourth one is formal tone. Okay, let's move on to unity. So unity in the sense, the word itself, it shows that you're going to stick to one main idea. So if you're going to develop a good paragraph, always one paragraph should develop one topic sentence, right? Okay. So that's what I told you, usually introduced by the topic sentence. So if a sentence does not relate directly to the idea, then you can see it breaks the unity and confuse the reader. So always unified paragraph, we are talking about a unified paragraph. It flows logically and keeps the readers very focused on the paragraph. Okay, so now the topic sentence is here. You can identify work-life balance plays a crucial role in employee satisfaction. So we have here three unified supporting sentences. See, employees who can manage personal and professional responsibilities are more productive. Companies offering flexible hours or often report higher retention rates. Stress levels decrease when employees feel supported in balanced life and work. So if you have a sentence like this, what would happen? Employees also enjoy year-end bonuses, which help them financially. This is very off-topic sentence. It already breaking the unity. Okay? So you should not include these kind of sentences. Make sure you include very closely related sentences where it can maintain the unity. Okay? So there are these key instances where we find the sentences break the unity uh, with related to the previous one. First thing is its irrelevance is there, and there is a conflict with the main idea, and there is there is absence of the link, and it leads to the reader's confusion, and already it can violate the topic sentence. Okay, so how we can write to connect the bonus to stress relief and wealth. So you can include something like this instead of that. Employees also receive a year-end bonus and which reduce financial stress, support the healthier work-life balance. So you have to always relate it. Okay. These are the techniques that you have to use to maintain the unity. First thing you have to ask yourself, does this sentence directly support my main idea? And the second one, you have to stick to the purpose of the paragraph. Okay. Avoid unrelated examples and personal anecdote unless they are clearly connected to it. Okay. And you make sure you link all the ideas back to the topic sentence. Okay, so let's practice some exercises to practice unity. Okay, there are some sentences given here that does not provide support to the main idea, performance appraisals. So try to find out the off-topic one. Check whether you can quickly glance through these sentences and identify which breaks the unity. Okay. If you can see, employees also like decorating their desk with personal items. Okay, performance appraisals is another topic, and this break suddenly, it does not support the main idea, evaluating employee effectiveness, right? So appraisals are the ones we evaluate the performance, but this is not something which is not related. So this is the off-topic one, okay? Yes, okay. Let's move on to this one and see. This is totally talking about effective recruitment strategies. Try to identify the off-topic sentence which breaks the unity. Yes, this one. The office cafeteria recently added more vegan options. So we are talking about recruitment strategies, and this does not relate to that. Okay, it does not focus on hiring or talent acquisition. So you see there, within itself, this sentence try to break the unity within this paragraph. Okay, now I think it's clearly understood by you that how what happens when the unity is violated by these kind of sentences, and also you are violating the topic sentence. Okay, let's give a try for this one. This is related to employee engagement initiatives. Try to find the sentence that violates topic sentence. Okay, this one. HR officers often attend international conferences and expand their network. So this is going to talk, we are going to talk about employee engagement, okay? But this is totally different, right? It focuses on, this sentence focuses on professional networking rather than initiative that directly engage with employees. Okay, so this again you can see shifts focus away from the main theme. Let's go on this last one, onboarding programs. Let's find out the last one. Yes, many organizations use AI tools, scan resumes and keywords. This one is totally talking about recruitment screening. It's not onboarding, okay? Onboarding, of course, it starts after candidate is hired. So including this idea, it shifts the focus from integration and orientation to hiring practices. Also, it disrupts the paragraph unity. Okay, this activity, you're going to revise the above paragraph, and because it remains unified around the onboarding. Okay, we are going to talk about onboarding. We'll see how you can revise it. The marketing team recently launched a new campaign. So you can revise it, okay? This sentence is about marketing campaign is irrelevant. So you have to remove this part. Okay, we are going to remove it. And remaining sentences are refined and linked. Sometimes you may have to remove some sentences, okay? So what you have to understand through this is unity is very important within a paragraph because it always linked everything to one central idea. Every sentence should directly support the topic sentence and avoid sidetracking. Okay. Now the second quality, writing quality that you have to improve is coherence. Coherence is, it's not a very difficult term. It talks about the logical flow of idea. Even though you have directly linked ideas, if the ideas are not given logically, then there is a problem within that paragraph. Okay. So coherence here refers to how smoothly and logically ideas are connected in a paragraph. Just as unity, this is very important. Why? Because it allows the readers to easily understand the writer's message without confusion. Okay. So what you have to think is coherence. You have to think it as GPS of your paragraph because it guides the reader clearly from one point to the next. Okay. So one example you can see. So here you can see the ideas are logically ordered, chronologically ordered. Okay. Recruitment begins with identifying the needs for the new employee. Then the HR team drafts the job description. After advertising, the vacancy applications are collected and reviewed. Finally, shortlisted candidates are interviewed. Okay. So there are techniques how you're going to improve coherence. First one is you can use the logical order. So it can be time-based. So we call it chronological order. If there is a process there, then it's time-based, okay? And sometimes you have to make them order of importance. And sometimes you may have to order them depending on the cause and effect, okay? These are the ways that you can logically order sentences. And the other technique is repeat key terms and ideas. So you can reuse the central ideas to strengthen and link the ideas between sentences. And also, see the two sentences which are given here. You may have to use the third person pronouns. Okay. Do not repeat it again. Sometimes you may have to use the pronoun referencing. Okay. It's also very important. It also again logically connects. Instead of repeating HR, you can use it. So let's practice coherence. Now, you have to arrange the jumble sentences. The topic is about employee training. So try to reorganize them. Let me give you a few seconds to do it. Okay, so this is the correct order. HR first assesses the skills gap within departments. After identifying needs, training goals are set. Employees are then enrolled in relevant programs. Finally, outcomes are evaluated and adjustments are made. So, explanation, if you give the explanation, first it starts with the problem identification. It shows the skill gap and then move on to the goal setting. And then after that, the action is taken. That's the training. And then finally, the results are measured and adjusted if needed. Okay, let's see how you can use. Sometimes you may have to use the logical transitions, right? So these logical transitions are very important. So you're going to insert appropriate transition word to improve the coherence. So these are we call next, then, finally. These are important transitions. Okay. So you can write like this. Recruitments begin with identifies staffing needs. Next, HR drafts job descriptions that outline required qualification. Then vacancies advertise and platform across platform. And then finally, you can use finally. Okay. Finally, applications are screened and interviews are conducted. Okay, so you're going to rewrite the paragraph to improve the coherence and logical order. Let's see how you can do it. The original paragraph is given here. Just go through it and see how you can do it. Okay, let's see. So the first one should be a welcome emails is usually sent before the first day, and then you have to write next hires are then given an employee handbook during the orientation. Then the last before the last, mentors are sometimes assigned after initial training, and then the final one you have to insert HR follows up after a few weeks to address concerns. Okay, so you can see first it start with the pre-arrival email and then the day one orientation, the handing over of handbook, and then the training phase, and then last one is post onboarding support, HR follow-up. Okay, so what you have to understand through is now we have talked about the unity and the logical order of writing something we call that's the coherence. Okay, so when coherence always writing easy to follow, logically ordered, it reflects the professionalism and clear thinking, and it practice of this it improves the clarity and great writing. Okay. Now, these transitions are very important. Now we are going under this we are going to talk about the phrases that act as kind of bridges between ideas and helping readers to move smoothly and logically. So it can be done through these transitions. Okay. So these are kind of words and phrases that act as bridges between ideas, helping readers to move smoothly and logically from one sentence or paragraph to the next. Okay, that's why I told you these transitions are very important. These words are very important. Even when you're going to combine two sentences, or we are going to maintain the logical order of the sentences, the clarity link between the sentences, or two paragraphs, or so many paragraphs. Okay. Yes. Now see, employees are leaving the company. The management didn't take any steps. Morale is low. So there is no logical connection in between these three. But let's see how we can make it improved with the transitions. Employees are leaving company. However, the management has yet taken any significant steps to address the issue. As a result, overall morale has declined. So you see, these are the transition words which links first sentence the next one to the other one. Okay. Okay, so now we are going to learn. This is very important. There are common logical transitions we can use in writing. Sometimes in HRM, you may have to discuss about the sequencing or process. Okay, so then you may have to use these sequencing ones when you talk about the recruitment, onboarding, and performance reviews. So firstly, next, then, after that, subsequently, eventually, finally, lastly. So these are you can use, we call these are transitions, which are related to sequencing and process oriented tasks. Next, we need making comparison. Sometimes we need to compare roles, benefits, methods within the HR practices. So then you have to write similarly, likewise, in comparison, compared to. Okay. Similarly, the training module for sales staff emphasizes communication skills. Okay. Adding information. Sometimes these transitions are used to extend or elaborate on HR policies, employee benefits, or findings. So you can use moreover, in addition, furthermore, also, not only that. Okay, so one example is given. Furthermore, employees are entitled to mental health support services. Reason and cause effect. This is also very common. We are used to explain HR decisions, policy changes, or outcomes. Okay, because, since, as a result, therefore, due to, consequently, thus. Okay, so you can write due to high turnover, the company revised its onboarding strategy. Next one, transitioning to contrast or exceptions. So sometimes in HR processes, you can need to highlight challenges, alternatives, and contradictions in HR practices. So then you need to learn at these things, right? However, on the other hand, in contrast, nevertheless, whereas, so one example is given here. However, remote employees express a need for better virtual engagement tools. Okay, so these are the other bonus ones where you can use it for purpose. Okay, HR policies and objectives. So you can use to ensure, in order to, so that, with the aim to. In order to retrain top talent, the HR team revised the reward system. Okay, so we learn now three things. Okay, what are those three things? Unity, coherence, and when we need to use the transitions. Okay, now let's move on to the exercises where we can practice. Okay, now the task here is match each type of paragraph structure with the suitable sequencing words. Give it a try and see. I'll give you a few minutes. Okay, what are the things you can take for chronological process? You can take first, then, next, finally, for the chronological process. And then you can talk cause and effect. You can talk as a result, consequently, therefore. These three words goes under cause and effect. And then most importantly, furthermore, in addition, these three goes under listing ideas by importance. Okay, and the last three you can go it under, you can put them under comparison and contrast. Okay, so these are the answers for that. Let's move on to another example. Choose the best transition for context. You have to fill in the blank. So there are 4 options here. Which will suit best? Many companies have started offering remote workplace options. Employees report better work-life balance. Nevertheless, in contrast, as a result, for example. So the answer should be as a result, cause and effect, right? Yes, that's the answer, cause and effect. Okay, identify and replace the inappropriate transition word. What is the inappropriate transition word here? Flexible work hours are becoming more popular. Conversely, there's a problem here. Conversely, employees appreciate the freedom and set their schedules. For instance, Instead of for instance, you have write as a result. Okay. So the first one, it should be directly related like this. Conversely implies a contrast. So you can't use it, but its sentence shows an agreement. So you have to use in fact. Okay. And here, for instance, it shows about an example. So instead you have to replace it with as a result because it describe about an outcome. Okay. Now, this is a writing task. Write a paragraph on how performance appraisals affect employee development. So you are going to use three different types of transitions, addition, cause and effect, and contrast. So just like, I mean, you can add any or anything, addition or cause and effect or contrast. So let me take you towards this. Now this one first, it talks about sequential order. Moreover, it adds the supporting detail, moreover. However, talks about the contrast. Okay. And it has a negative consequence. Okay. So techniques for using transitions effectively. You have to use transitions to signal relationship between ideas very clearly. And you may have to vary transition to avoid repetition, maintain the reader interest. And you have to place transition at the beginning, middle, and or even at the end of the sentence, depending on the emphasis. And make sure that the transitions are grammatically appropriate, match with the logic of the content. This is very important. Grammatically appropriate and match with the logic of the content. And what we see most commonly is you use this transition but and you have to avoid overusing this. Okay, overusing. Okay, these transitions are essential tools for writing, creating smooth. It creates smooth flow and logical order. Use transitions to connect, not to confuse. Okay. So in HRM writing, clear and professional transitions improve the credibility and the clarity of your message. Okay. So we are coming to the last part of it. That's the formal tone. Whenever you have the unity, coherence, transition, and all these things are not enough, you have to show your formal tone also. Okay. So let's see what's formal tone. It's the use of objective, precise, and respectful language appropriate for professional and academic writing. So make sure you should not use these slangs. Okay, don't use contractions. You're not going to use informal expressions or your personal anecdotes or excessive emotion. Okay. Yes. Now, this table, you will see the same thing was written in informal tone and formal tone. Let's see the first one. You got to treat people well. That has the kind of very informal type of writing. So, employees should be treated with respect. The boss freaked out about the report. The manager expressed concern regarding the report. It's kind of hard. These are very informal terms. Manage stuff sometimes. The word stuff, okay? It is sometimes challenging to manage multiple responsibilities. Okay, so there are techniques we have to use for achieving formal tone. First thing is we have to use third person perspective. That means you have to avoid first person and second person pronouns like I, we, you. Okay. So you have to use the specific terms. And then use professional subject specific vocabulary. Instead of stuff, you can use the task, assignment, or whatever the terms that you're using. And make sure you use sorry, HRM specific terms. Okay. And you have to write the full terms. Do not. Okay. Don't write don't with the apostrophe. You have to write cannot, will not. Okay. And avoid emotive and vague language. Emotive and vague language. Okay. So you have to replace amazing, terrible a lot with the effective, inefficient, and a lot you can use it with significant. Okay. These words you have to use. And you should eliminate the rhetorical questions like, why do people hate their job? So you can write many employees experience dissatisfaction. Okay. These are the techniques that you can achieve the formal tone. Okay, let's practice some exercises. So read the following sentences and highlight the informal words and the phrases. Okay, let's see. What are the informal boss got mad, messed up report, got a, or else they leave. These are the very informal ones. Okay. So instead of these, you can use the formal equivalent, right? Boss, manager, got mad, expressed dissatisfaction, messed up report, inaccurate report, you can use need to, or else you can use otherwise employee retention may decline. Okay. And always the formal tone, it avoids the slang and casual expressions. You have to make sure you avoid those slang and casual expressions. Okay, so rewrite a paragraph using formal tone. This is an informal example. I think employee don't like rules much. The management kind of pushes too hard sometimes. They should chill and let us work. So how you are going to make it into formal? So this is the formal response. Some employees may find current regulations overly restrictive. Management is encouraged to consider a more flexible approach to enhance more morale and productivity. So you can see it avoids the first person pronouns, okay, and the slang like kind of chill and vague phrases using neutral, respectful language, which already suits the HRM communication. Okay, now this is a very casual email. You're going to convert it into a very formal HRM memo. Let's see how you can do it. So I have already told you when it goes to the very formal one, there is a structure, right? The sample memo, it should have the structure to subject, okay? To recruitment officer, subject is interview schedule confirmation. And then you write, this is to inform you that the scheduled candidate interview will take place 3 p.m. today. Kindly inform me immediately if the candidate fails to arrive or if there are any unexpected developments. So see, the casual email, it's like, hey, just letting you know that the interview is at 3. Hope the dude show up. Let me know if anything weird happens. So you have to make sure you write something very formal like this, right? There are casual greetings and you have to avoid the slang. Okay. Clarity and courtesy are very prioritized here. Okay. So You have to match a lot of issues and got fired, pretty good outcome, boss freaked out. So you have to match these informal expressions with formal equivalent. Let's see how you can do it. Yes. Okay. Lot of issues, numerous challenges, got fired. You can use it for terminated. Pretty good outcome, favorable result. Boss freak out, so you can manage express concern. These are the answers, okay? Read each sentence and replace informal expression with the formal equivalent. Okay. There were a lot of issues during onboarding process. A lot of issues. You can write there were numerous challenges during the onboarding process. Sarah got fired, so got terminated, was terminated. Okay. A pretty good outcome. Instead, you can use a favorable result. Freaked out, you can write express concern. And the boss, you have to write the manager. So these are the answers. Okay. Uh, the numerous challenges, it shows the professionalism and clarity in formal HRM. Terminated, it maintains the objective tone. Okay. And was a favorable result. It shows the reports and assessment instead of casual expressions. And the manager expressed concern. It eliminates the emotional and sensational language. So the key takeaway, what you have to understand is always a formal tone ensures the professionalism, clarity, okay, and the credibility. Always these things are involved in reports, memos, and proposals and performance reviews. Okay, so now you have learned about the 4 qualities which are very important in paragraph writing. And also sometimes we notice apart from these, we have to practice this rewriting techniques, okay? Instead of unity, coherence, and transition and formal tone, we have to practice rewriting techniques to make our paragraph shine. Why? Because rewriting is just not fixing grammar. It's about refining our message, okay? To make it clear, precise, structured, and professional in tone. Okay, so it's very important in HRM documents like reports, memos, and policies and emails. You make sure you rewrite them and see whether it's fit into the clear, precise structures and professional tone. Okay, so the strategies for effective rewriting, you can combine very short and then choppy sentences and break long confusing sentences and replace vague words, and you can check the 5 key elements, whether you have the topic sentence, unity, coherence, transitions, and formal tone. Okay. So when you combine short choppy sentences, you avoid sounding robotic. Okay. You join the ideas to improve the flow. And then break long confusing sentence. It avoid overwhelming to the readers and it makes the reader to digest the ideas. Okay. And replace vague words. You can use the terms which are related to specific HRM vocabulary and like that. So these are the things that you have to learn. Okay, so the today's session, we talk about very important thing, and I hope this session will be very important to write your assignment as well. And then when you're providing your reports and professional writing, so this may be very helpful. So today's session is very important. We focus on writing. Hope to meet you in the next day with a new topic. Have a nice day.